Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good morning. We have some breaking news coming out of the Walt Disney Company this morning. Very, very shocking. The Muppets courtyard is demoed to be removed and replaced with the new Monsters Incorporated land that we all saw at D23 this year. Definitely some heartbreaking news. A lot of people are heartbroken, including myself. I grew up with the Muppets. I never had the opportunity to fly out to Florida and go experience the land, but anyone that does have the opportunity to go visit the Muppets land, please do so. Obviously, you probably will have some time. No official date has been announced, only that the land is going to get demoed and replaced by monsters. And I have to say, it's a sad day. I know when when they announced that they were going to get rid of the Rivers of America and put Cars Land there, a lot of people were upset about that. And now with this news coming out of the Muppets getting removed, and I think the Aerosmith roller coaster that's right next to the Muppets courtyard, and please correct me if I'm wrong because I've never been to Walt Disney World. That's also getting a retheme as well. So definitely a sad morning for a lot of us in the theme park community. But we're gonna jump right into it. Some guests this morning, Mr. Seymour Duck. Always great to have you on. The Giant Peter Show. Muppets was cool, but most of the same infrastructure for the land is staying. Well, hopefully. I hope so. That would be nice. Also, you said, but would it be something that could last another 10 years? I don't think. Well, are you talking about Muppets or are you talking about the Monsters Land? You also said Aerosmith is on the other side of the park near the Tower of Terror. Okay, got it. Again, I've never been to Walt Disney World, so if I get anything wrong, please correct me. But we're going to jump right into it and read an article, several articles that just came out this morning, and everyone was scrambling. I was eating breakfast this morning. All of a sudden, I'm getting these text alerts on X and Instagram and YouTube that they closed it. So definitely a sad, bitter morning. This is coming out of WWNT. It says concept art Muppets or Muppet vision changing to Monstropolis, Mama Melrose to become Harry Houston's, and more Monsters Inc. Land details. This just got published this morning. So definitely something interesting. So I'm going to read through it. Again, if you guys have any comments, definitely post them in the comments section. I'll try to read them as I go. So it says, with the reveal that Muppets Vision 3D will be closing to make way for the Monsters Land announced at D23, the Ultimate Fan event, Disney has released new updated concept art for the land showing us a clear picture of what we can expect. So this is the concept art. Obviously, you see Monstropolis in the back here. And if I'm not mistaken, this is where Muppets is and the restaurants and gift shop. I have to ask you guys, a lot of you that have been at the Walt Disney Park and Hollywood Studios to experience the Muppets, do you really think Muppets has to be removed to make way for Monstropolis? Because Monstropolis is way up here. And from what I understand, Star Wars Launch Bay is literally right next to this area. And Star Wars Launch Bay is really not being used for anything at all. So it's a big, giant vacant building. And I think behind that, they have some Imagineering offices and whatnot. So I'm kind of unsure why Muppets would have to be removed at this point. Because I know a lot of people love the Muppets. I know Jim Henson, this was one of the last projects he had his actual hands on. before he sadly passed away. So I'm trying to understand what the reasoning behind this is. Um, so it's definitely something I'm not understanding. Peter, you mentioned that it is really outdated. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is because it's been like with updates here and there, but basically putting a band-aid on things, kind of like what Tomorrowland is out here at the Disneyland Resort in SoCal. They just keep throwing band-aids on it, and it's really not fixing the problem. So in one aspect, I get it, but there's a huge fan base behind the Muppets. So I kind of feel like they should have gone. They should have done something else. Maybe put Monstropolis. Figure out how to keep the Muppets, but also have Monstropolis, but also update the Muppets at the same time. I kind of feel that could have been more than possible. But continuing, starting from the land's entrance and working our way back, guests will pass under the archway from the Grand Avenue and find themselves in Monstropolis, where monster work, play, and life. To the left is formerly Gonzo's Royal Flush restrooms, now sporting a more monstrous appearance with teeth added to the roofing. At the center of the first area in the foundation, sorry guys, replacing that of Miss Piggy and Miss Liberty instead, the foundation sculpture is now a giant eyeball, looking over at the former home of the Muppets Vision 3D. The concept art shows the theater is now known as Monstro. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but hopefully I am. With a large eye at the center of the marquee that advertises late night screams. To the right, the large clock tower also sport an eye motif around the clock face. To the left, along the roof line, is a billboard advertising Monsters Inc. with two monsters holding laugh canisters. Okay, that's highly interesting. So this is Pizza Rizzo's right here. This is a giant building, actually. Looking at it, it's kind of crazy. Across the open way or walkway is the former Pizza Rio's, which will presumably close to make way for something new. Though it's unknown at present, along the roof is another billboard reading, "We're Monsters Inc., featuring Mike and Sully. Goodbye, Rat Pizza Neon, or beloved." It is also clear, based on this concept art, the Stage 1 company store will be demolished to allow for more walkways and greenscape in the land. Traveling further into the land, we pass by several trees to come to what is currently It's a Wonderful Shop, which will also likely close, though this art does show the facade with holiday garland in the window. On the roof is another billboard, though this one advertises Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, which is currently in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. Which I'm kind of feeling like if they're going to build a whole Monstropolis, that laugh floor is going to get removed out of Tomorrowland and transferred over to the Monstropolis land, if I had to guess. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Much of the billboard art in the land seems to be existing placeholders or placeholder visuals, but having a theater that Disney plans to utilize in the new land means that there will be some form of the show. It's possible that Disney could relocate Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, like I was just saying, to the space, but we don't know at this time. It could be a strange decision to move a dated and not really beloved show from Magic Kingdom to Disney Hollywood Studios. Continuing on, we come to the entrance of Harry Houston's, the sushi restaurant from the first film, where Mike Waskey takes Sally May out on a date. Based on this concept art, it is clear that this restaurant concept will replace Mama Melrose Italia. I can't even say that right. Italian restaurant. I'm just going to say that. Though it does seem to use some of its facade along the street. Well, I have a buddy that's going to be sad about that. Huge Italian guy. George the Italiano. I had him and Orange Grove 55 and Theme Park Wizard last night. So that's kind of sad. The building itself is more of a trapeze shape or trapezoid shape with two chopsticks forming the entranceway. At the top of the building, the two chopsticks cross to hold up the eyeball. Sorry guys, my computer's acting funny. Walking all the way back into the land, guests will come upon the entrance to the Monsters Incorporated itself and in the show building for the previous announced doors cover belt suspended roller coaster, which is the first of its kind for the Disney Company. I'm sure they've made this roller coaster before. Correct me if I'm wrong. The M-shaped building towers overhead with multiple smokestacks on either side. Well, hopefully they keep those smokestacks working, because I know out here in Universal Hollywood for twosomes, we have smokestacks on our building for the restaurant, but the smokestack stopped working a long time ago. So hopefully Disney can keep the smokestacks working on this monster show building, for sure. So earlier today, November the 22nd, 2024, Disney announced that Muppets Vision 3D would close to make way for Monstropolis. However, the Muppets will be relocated to Sunset Boulevard. Oh, that's interesting. Taking over Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. So basically Disney has confirmed that the Muppets isn't completely dead yet. Oh, that's a good thing. At least we have something compared to nothing. What do you think of the new concept art of Monstropolis at Disney Hollywood Studios? Are you sad to see Muppets Vision 3D close? Well, to be honest with you, I've never been to Walt Disney World. I've never ridden the Muppets 3D attraction or experienced it. But if I had, I would be sad. But I'm sad in general. A lot of us grew up with the Muppets, so it's kind of sad to see that they're going. Also, it's kind of weird. This was another story posted, which was basically the Muppets 3D attraction. It just went through a massive refurb. Obviously, you can see the seats got refurbed. A lot of things inside the theater got refurbed. So it's interesting that they're now going to strip all that out and put another IP in there. Hopefully they don't have to do too much to it, which it's kind of weird they would spend money like this if knowing that they're going to replace it with monsters. But this clearly says Disney is starting to replace the crusty old Muppets Vision 3D seats in Disney Hollywood Studios. This is from November the 3rd, which we reported on earlier this year. And they have also replaced once faded and dirty banners outside the attraction. These are the new seats that they replaced earlier this year. These are the old ones. You can clearly see they look horrible. Guests visiting the theater may notice fresh, new, bright red, plathered, upholstered, compared to the following photo of the seats from earlier this year, which are all crusty and nasty. And then you can see the new banners that they replaced, which now they're going to be taking them down, which I think it was a waste of money if they're going to do that. But the banners do look nice and fresh. The banners from the frame the entrance to the Muppets Vision 3D Theater. The left banner has Kermit-inspired M on it, while the right banner has 3D on it. Kind of interesting. Bunsen, Beaker, Kermit, and Gonzo are on the right banner. The colors pop more than they once did. I agree with that. Ammo, I'm not even saying this right. I'm probably butchering these names. Fozzie Bear and Miss Piggy are on the right banner. Miss Piggy was funny. So I'm going to show this video. I'm not going to play the sound, obviously, because I don't want copyright issues. But I'm going to play this for everybody watching so we can all experience it. Because, again, it has been announced by Disney as of this morning that the Muppets Land is going to be closing down alongside the Muppets Vision 3D to make way for the Monstropolis, the new Monsters Land that was announced for D23. So we're going to watch this. Again, I cannot play the sound. I don't want copyright issues, but we're going to watch it together. But before we do, Tommy Toon World, always great to see you, brother. I'm glad you can make it this morning. But we're going to watch this right now and take a look at this. So bear with me. But post in the comments, are you guys sad about this? Obviously, you got the two old gentlemen. Always a classic, scene. But it's going to be a sad time for a lot of people with Rivers of America getting ripped out to make way for the Cars Land, which now a lot of people are pushing back, saying that they don't want that there. So I'm sure Cars Land is still going in that area, but how they build it is going to be really interesting, because the dirt track that they were planning on for the Cars Land, obviously they have far worse weather out there in Orlando than we do out here in SoCal. So I kind of feel like they're going to retrofit that a little bit and not have a dirt track unless it's indoors. But then again, I don't know how that's going to work. And then now you got the Muppets. So definitely heartbreaking to see without a doubt. Ian, good morning, brother. I'm glad to see you. I'm happy about it. Muppets 3D is an okay attraction, but very outdated. They will be better served on RNRC. Yeah, I agree, Ian. It's just the whole fact that it has such a huge fan base. It got a lot of people upset. You know, by looking at the aerial view, it looks like Monstropolis is way in the back, and you still have the Muppets Land in the front. I kind of feel like they kind of updated the Muppets, but not gotten rid of them. But since now it's going to take over what you're saying is the RNRC, which is the Rock and Roller Coaster. I guess that's okay. Obviously Aerosmith has been the sponsor of that roller coaster for a very long time. I think since it was opened. But the fact that they're getting rid of this, and the fact that Jim Henson's work is getting torn out, and a lot of people adore Jim Henson and the Muppets, it's kind of sad. But I get it. But who knows? Who knows? A lot of people are going to push back on this, obviously, just like they're pushing back on, the Tom Sawyer's Island, in Magic Kingdom to make way for Cars. So I could see pushback and I could see changes, but in all reality, you're probably right. It's outdated. It's going to get ripped out. I'm kind of sad to see it go, though. But if it has to happen, it has to happen. But it's just a very sad time for all of us. But oh man, this is a 15-minute show. Wow. Ian, you're also saying issue. They can't even sell merch. Okay, well that's not good. If they can't sell merch, again, I've never been to Walt Disney World, so I don't know for sure. But if you're saying they can't even sell the merch, that's not good. That is not a good thing. Because one thing I know about the Walt Disney Company is they like to make money. They don't like things that don't make money. If they can't gain a profit from what they put out for us theme park fans to experience, then yeah, they axe it, whether we like it or not. I'm not going to play the whole video because it's 15 minutes long, but it's a long show though. I have to say it's a long show. As we're going down, just the architecture, and then the two old guys, obviously. Let me ask you guys in the chat. I want to ask you guys, the two old guys you see on the balcony there. Do you think we could see them incorporated into the Rock and Roller Coaster attraction? Because they're pretty funny. Don't get me wrong, they're pretty funny. They, obviously they're here at the Muppets 3D. I remember them doing a skit or two on SNL, Saturday Night Live. And a lot of people think they're funnier than hell. I think they are too. Post in the comments if you guys think they should be incorporated into the Rock and Roller Coaster. I think they should. But continuing on, it says Muppets Vision 3D opened in 1991 as one of the first representations of the Muppets in the Disney parks, and the only permanent Muppets attraction since then. As production began on Muppets Vision 3D, there was a tentative agreement for Disney to purchase the Jim Henson Company. However, Henson's death in 1990 ended that agreement and delayed the attraction. Directed by Henson, it was one of his and puppeteers Richard Hunt's final Muppets project. It was the last time Henson performed as Kermit the Frog, as well as Waldorf, the Swedish chef. I love the Swedish chef. And the last time Hunt performed as Scooter, Staller, Beaker, and Sweet Tums. Wow, he played a lot of characters. Hunt passed away in 1992 after the attraction premiered. So these two old guys here, I could see them being incorporated into the Rock and Roller Coaster. Ian, you said, I hope they really do a good job rehabbing and retheming RNRC, maybe adding some screens like they did for the Avengers Assembly Flight Force for RNRC in Paris, and redo the current props. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. But going down, other performers who participated in the Muppets Vision 3D include Frank Oz, Dave Gloss, Steve Whitmire, Jerry Nelson, John Henson, David Rudman, Catherine Mullen, and Wayne Allred as Waldo's Mickey impression. A live actor also portrays Sweet Tums, who walks through the theater during a section of the show. Audio animatronics of Stabler and Waldorf are in the box seats above the audience. Disney never did acquire the Jim Henson's company in full, but purchased the theme park rights to the Muppets and eventually purchased the property entirely in 2004. Muppets Vision 3D has run for 32 years. That's a long time. Even as other Muppet attractions have been closed and canceled, and as Disney's Hollywood Studios changed it around. Until 2016, it was part of the Streets of America. The area then became known as Muppets Courtyard before becoming Grand Avenue in 2017. The Muppets section of Grand Avenue is still often unofficially referred to as Muppets Courtyard. It is also home to Piz Rios, and the Miss Piggy Fountain, which is currently being refurbished. That's interesting. Currently, guests can also enjoy Bunsen and Beaker at the Muppets themed Brew Wing Lab as part of the 2023 Epcot International Food and Wine Festival beginning in November during Disney's Jolly. I lost my place. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, it moved on me. Sorry, guys. During Disney Jollywood Nights at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Miss Piggy and Kermit will host a musical holiday special. So that's interesting, for sure. But I want to point out something because I have the map here. I have Google Maps. So you guys, if I get anything wrong, post in the comments so I can correct myself. Because again, I'm not familiar with Walt Disney World, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think this building right here, this massive one, this long one, this is, I'm trying to read this and it's kind of hard. Is this the Muppets 3D theater right here? Is this where it's at, or I'm trying to see where it's at? Because again, it's hard for me to see this. Let me see. Let me see if I can go in a little bit. Or is this the building right here? Because obviously, if you look at the concept art, I think Monstropolis is going in somewhere up here or somewhere over here, and they have the Muppets down here. So it's really interesting that they want to get rid of it. I get why they want to get rid of it. Like Ian was saying earlier, it's very outdated. But it's definitely something that a lot of people are going to be upset about, obviously. And then I'm going to read another story from Blog Mickey, courtesy of him. It says Muppets Courtyard Monsters Inc. land art appears to be old, created this concept art from 2020. It says in the ongoing saga of the placement of Monsters Inc. land, Eagle Eye fans have spotted what appears to be indication that at least one piece of the concept art is old. The concept art seen below, which many fans, include us, point to as proof that the Monsters Land is taking over the Muppets Courtyard, appears to be from 2020. So if we scroll down here for just a second, I'm looking at this and it doesn't look, even though it's from 2020, so 4 years ago, it kind of looks almost exactly accurate. It's weird. Because I've talked about it with a good friend of the channel, Orange Grove 55. Him and Disney George, the Italiano, was on last night with Theme Park Wizard on my Conductor Thursday live stream. Definitely go check that out. But it's interesting because we've talked about time and time again how buildings like this for the new roller coaster for the Monsters Inc. land, it's pretty humongous. Like, I mean, really humongous. So you could probably see that building from very far away. And I have to say, sightline issues, I don't know how this is going to work if you can see this building from other lands surrounding. So hopefully that's not the case, but we'll have to just wait and see. But it says in the lower right-hand part of the concept art, below, executive concept designer at Walt Disney Imagineering, Greg Pro, signed the work. Greg has officially been with the Walt Disney Imagineering for nearly 10 years, but his work with the Imagineering goes back decades. Greg is responsible for a large number of concept art pieces going back years and years and years. If we zoom in on the full resolution version of the artwork above, we can see that Greg signed his work in the lower right-hand corner against the pavers, which is literally right here. Greg signed his name with the year that the concept art was created in 2020. So you can see it right there, zoomed in shot. For comparison, here's a look at the Avatar concept art for Disney California Adventure with Greg signed with 2024 again. This is the new concept art for the new Avatar land coming to DCA and the Disneyland Resort in Southern California. You can see his signature right there. Very, very hard to see, but his signature is there. Other pieces of Monsters Inc. land concept art were not signed, perhaps leading some credibility to reports that Disney not yet made up its mind where the Monsters Inc. land will be placed within Disney Hollywood Studios. Well, I think we have that confirmation now. It's taken over Muppets. I think it's rather well accepted by Disney fans that following two pieces of concept art show two different implements of Monsters Inc. land. If that's the case, we know that the Street View concept art was created in 2020, and the unsigned elevated view artwork is assumed to be more recent concept. It really seems possible that Disney has floated two different locations to take temperature off the fan community. Well, Disney, I hate to say it, Daddy Josh, you just up the heat by 100-fold. You pissed off a lot of people. First, it was the Rivers of America being replaced by Cars Land. Now it's going to be the Muppets land getting replaced by Monstropolis. So, yeah, you're pissing a lot of people off there, Daddy Josh, regardless if it is outdated or not. It really seems possible that I'm sorry, I just read that. Of course, the temperature is running hot, perhaps leading Disney to pump the brakes on providing more details about the Monsters Inc. land, like they did with the Frontier expansion for Cars-themed attractions. Well, as of today, they definitely... trying to figure out where my mouse went. They definitely came out this morning, November the 22nd, 2024, and announced that the Muppets land is closing to make way for this. Even though the Street View concept appears to be created in 2020, it was presented at the 2024 D23 Expo, presumably as a current concept. Of course, the Doors roller coaster concept is more than a decade old at this point. That's interesting. Dusted off and ready for construction to begin next year, which, if many of you don't know, they just had the Brazilian D23. It was held in Brazil, and they announced at the D23 Expo out there that the Monstropolis land, the Monsters land, is going to start construction next year. They haven't given an official date yet, but it is going to start next year. It says, Walt Disney World has not responded to a request for clarification about the concept art age or the location of the Monsters land. It says, it just says keep checking Blog Mickey, but do you guys not see how big that Monstropolis building is for the Monsters land? That thing is humongous. I'm sorry, but that's going to create sightlines. I just know it is. So we'll have to see. Ian, you said the thing is that area is always empty and Muppets Vision is a walk-on. Yeah, that makes sense. People love Muppets, but it is not translating in the park. Yeah. 32 years, it's probably outrun its course. I believe it, but it's kind of sad it's still going. I think the Rock and Roller Coaster, you're going to get more love and visibility. I hope so. I really hope so. It definitely needs it. You know, I'm gonna float this idea, and this is just me spitballing here. This is no validity, no backing towards this whatsoever. But we have a massive identity problem in our Tomorrowland in the Disneyland Resort. You know, it's been broken for a long time. The only three attractions in that land is Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. You got Space Mountain, and you also got oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. The third Star Tours. But all the rest of it is just abandoned. You got the old abandoned People Mover tracks. You got the old abandoned Star Wars launch bay that used to be the America Sings building Interventions. Do you guys think it's even remotely, and I mean remotely, a possibility we could see the Muppets come from the East Coast to the West Coast and take over Tomorrowland? Again, that is just me spitballing. That is not, there's no validity to that whatsoever. But a lot of people have said that Tomorrowland, at least our version out here at the Disneyland Resort, is just, it's looking run down and just horrible. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think the Muppets could come to our version of Tomorrowland at the Disneyland Resort, or do you think they're just gonna, like Ian said, and what we read earlier, they're just gonna keep it? They're gonna retheme the Rock and Roller Coaster, which is currently, as of today, themed to Aerosmith, but it's gonna be rethemed to the Muppets. What do you guys think about that? I'm kind of curious to pick your brain about that. But then, you know, just a lot of crazy, just off the wall, just people in general on X giving their opinion on the Muppets and what's going on. Oh, that's a funny window. I have to admit, that is pretty funny. Bob Iger and Josh Tomorrow Demolition Company. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of sense. Whoever found that window or created that image, hands up to you guys. That is funny. It says breaking: Bob and Josh get their own window on Main. It's located at the old Disneyland Magic Shop because they make stuff disappear. Yeah, well, you're not wrong about that. You're definitely not wrong about that. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think? What's your opinion on the Muppets going away? But obviously, it's not going to be entirely. This is another piece, and I'm going to read this as well. Again, shout out to WD. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. WWN.T. So we're going to read this story real quick. Ian posted some for us. He said, looking at the new artwork that Gustin dropped today, looks like the door roller coaster and facade is going to be way further back than we thought, like in the DHS parking lot. Well, you know what? Let's go to that real quick, Ian. Let me get Scott Gustin's page up and running here. Give me 1 second, guys. We're gonna take a look at that concept art. Thank you for posting that, Ian, so we can see that. Okay, this is the picture you're talking about. Yeah, this is the picture right here. Yeah, it's way farther back, and I mean way farther back. That's what I was saying. Is it really necessary to get rid of a lot of the Muppets? I don't really think so. And having multiple multiple IPs in a giant space is not a horrible idea either. So it's really pushed back there, and it looks like it has plenty of room for everything Monstropolis is going to offer. So I'm kind of a little confused, but also I'm kind of like trying to think in my mind how this could work. But yeah, it's really pushed back there very far, and then that's what it's supposedly going to look like for the Rock and Roller Coaster retheme the Muppets. Again, it's currently themed to Aerosmith. This is concept art. I think this is. Hold on, guys, because I can't read that top part. Let's see if I can get rid of this for a second. There we go. This is a post that Scott Gustin posted, and I'm going to read his comment. He said, "Also new, Disney says the Monsters Inc. land will include a whole new theater show in the current Muppets version 3D theater." So they are going to use the theater. They're just stripping it from Muppets, but they are going to keep the theater. That's interesting. Yeah, for sure. Ian, you said, again, thank you for that concept art. I appreciate that, or let me know that Scott Gustin, the absolute GOAT when it comes to Disney news, posted that. I'm just trying to see if he posted anything else about this. I don't think he did yet. But again, reverting back to this picture, you could see that roller coaster show building is way pushed back there. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be a massive land, but it's interesting to me that they would bring a IP like this, Monsters Incorporated, because the first movie came out in 2001. So the IP is already 23 years old and soon to be 24 years old. It's interesting they come up with this now, and then, like we read earlier, the technology, the ride technology for this new Monsters indoor roller coaster, it's already over 10 years old. So it's interesting they dusted it off and brought it back to life, which I kind of wish they would have done that with the Avengers E-ticket at DCA. The concept art they had from the 2019 D23 Expo, I kind of wish they would have brought that back and dusted that off, but they didn't. But we're going to go back to that page. Again, this is a article that was published today, breaking Muppets Vision 3D closing for Monsters Land, Rock and Roller Coaster to star Muppets and Electric Mayhem. Walt Disney World has announced that the Muppets 3D is permanently closing at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Additionally, the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith will no longer star Aerosmith. Instead, the Muppets will be taking a super stretch limo to the other side of the park to take over the indoor roller coaster. And there's the Muppets Vision 3D show building that's going to be rethemed to the monsters. Muppets 3D is closing to make way for the Monsters Incorporated land announced at D23. The new land was originally slated to take over the Star Wars Launch Bay area, which I thought it was going to take over because Star Wars Launch Bay, that's just a big, empty, do-nothing building, which I'm sure they host events in there, but it's very rare, and most of the time it's vacant. Just like our Star Wars Launch Bay at Tomorrowland at the Disneyland Resort is always vacant. But plans changed sometime before the announcement was made. The Monsters Incorporated roller coaster rumored lay dormant for years before being reported by WDWNT.com this summer, eventually confirmed by Disney. Disney has already designated the Muppets Vision film. The digital version has been playing for over a decade now, and has assured us that it will be preserved, stating we are having a creative conversations and exploring ways to preserve the film and other parts of the experience for fans to enjoy in the future. So again, referencing to the Rock and Roller Coaster, maybe a gift shop, maybe a walk-in experience at somewhere in Hollywood Studios. So they are exploring options because they don't want to completely erase the Muppets from the theme park. So hopefully they come up with something really good. I hope. It does say that being said, there is no way guarantees it will ever be seen in a attraction selling ever again once it closes. Well, we've heard that before. The show is of historical significance as it was last projected. Jim Henson worked on before his death and opened on May 16th, 1991. I'm not going to play the video because we already watched it. Monsters Incorporated Land Monstropolis. The Grand Avenue area that Muppets Vision currently occupies will become Monstropolis from the Monsters, Inc. In addition to the previous announced suspended roller coaster inspired by the door transportation system in the original film. Again, the original film came in 2001. The land will have dining, shopping, and more. It will also have a theater experience that details have not yet been announced, for which we'll presume by what takes over the current Muppet Vision space. Based on the concept art, Harry Henson's or Hewson's from Monsters Incorporated will take over the footprint of Mama Melrose Italian restaurant. I'm going to just say that because I'm trying not to butcher these names, so I'd rather just not say it. Here's a picture of the Rock and Roller Coaster featuring Aerosmith. So it'll be interesting to see if, since they're going to retheme this to the Muppets, if they're going to keep that guitar in the front of the show building, or they're going to get rid of it. So it'll definitely be something interesting to see. Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith will be featuring music's business stars for a rockin' music festival. The Muppets will take over the top billing at the indoor roller coaster. Details, including the extent of the transformation, are unknown at this time. Rumors swirled of a Dr. Teeth and Electric Mayhem retheming after the creator of the Muppets Mayhem said he pitched a retheme back in June. This is that concept art. I think that looks pretty cool. Be honest with you guys, it looks pretty amazing. It's something where I'm glad they're keeping some type of the Muppets, but it is kind of sad that the whole land's disappearing. I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with the Miss Piggy water fountain statue. I wonder if they're going to relocate that in front of this attraction that's getting rethemed to the Muppets. It won't just be Dr. Teeth and Electric Mayhem, though. The poster released by Disney for the reimagined ride, also featuring Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. So we assume that and other Muppets will be involved. Hopefully. Rock Around the Shop, the exit gift store, will be given to the Muppets as well. So they're going to have a gift shop and the ride. So that's kind of nice. Providing a home for the Muppets merchandise, which we just heard from Ian in the chat earlier, that the Muppets merchandise is really not selling. But now that the land's closing to make way for Monstropolis, we could see a influx of purchases for Muppet merch. So definitely something interesting. Walk around the shop. The exit. Oh, sorry. The park has been without since the Stage One Company store closed in 2020, probably due to the pandemic. The only other version of the Rock and Roller Coaster in Walt Disney Studios Park at Disneyland Paris closed in 2019 to make way for the Avengers Assemble Flight Force, which I'm sure that attraction is really awesome. I wish we would get a version of that at DCA out here at the Disneyland Resort. Rock and Roller Coaster has been under scrutiny for a while after assault accusations were made against Aerosmith frontman Steven Tyler in 2022. The rumors have began again in summer 2024 when the band announced its immediate retirement from obviously touring and concerts. No closing date has been announced for either attraction, but Disney has said that guests will have enough time to catch a super stretch limo to the Forum to enjoy Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith and see the Muppets 3D again before the curtain calls. More details on the experience will be shared next year. So definitely pretty sad. But again, I'm kind of in limbo here with Monstropolis, with Monsters, a 23-year-old IP now getting its own land. It's kind of weird. But obviously Disney's made their mind. Obviously there's going to be pushback. This is not over by any means necessary. Again, that's why the Rivers of America at the Magic Kingdom has not started any construction yet, because there is a lot of pushback, and I mean more than what Splash Mountain had when Magic Kingdom version closed to be rethemed to Tiana's, and same thing at the Disneyland Resort, our version to be rethemed. There was a lot of pushback. But this, between the Rivers of America, Magic Kingdom, and now the Muppets Courtyard, as I'm going to call it, getting rethemed to Monsters and Monstropolis, it's kind of sad to see go. But it's something that Bob Iger himself, the board, Daddy Josh has decided that the Muppets are just no longer relevant and they don't need a whole land anymore. But it is kind of nice in one aspect that they are still going to have a gift shop. They are still going to have an attraction theme to the Muppets, and it's going to be a high-speed roller coaster, an indoor roller coaster. So that's kind of nice. So, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Ian also said one of the cool things about Muppet Vision is that at the end, the wall behind the screen blows up in the movie, and you see DHS from 30 years ago. 30 years ago, great nostalgia. Oh, I agree. But I want to thank everybody, and I mean everybody, for joining today's early morning live stream. Again, I wasn't planning on doing another live stream until my Conductor Thursday, which programming note, next week, because of Thanksgiving, it will be on Wednesday. So just keep that in mind. It will be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So it will not be on Thursday. Just keep that in mind. And then I'm going to be doing videos, or a video, on Black Friday, which is November the 29th. I will be doing a video at Universal Studios Hollywood, and possibly a live stream as well, about the Christmas overlay with Grinchmas and with the new Super Nintendo World Christmas with the merch. Obviously, you can see this guy behind me. You know what? Let me grab him real quick. Hold on. So you guys can see this is the Christmas merch right here. This is the beginning of it. This is a big plushie snowman. They're going to have, I think, the statue of him and Luigi in the front of the entrance portal leading into the Super Nintendo World. So I'm super excited to see that and cover that. Obviously, I'm always excited to see the Grinch. He's always a very favorite character of mine, without a doubt. But anyone looking for this plushie, they do have the Christmas merch out at Universal Hollywood right now. And I don't know about Orlando, but definitely in Hollywood, you could get your Super Nintendo World Christmas merch. I bought this, and it goes for $35. But just keep this in mind. He does. If you have an annual pass, you can get a discount on all the holiday merch. So definitely, if you're looking for Christmas merch or Christmas gifts, and you have family and friends that love Nintendo, this is a great purchase. But I want to thank everyone for joining today. I'm your host, Theme Park Conductor. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Theme Park Conductor. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Theme Conductor. And you can find me every Thursday, except for next week because of Thanksgiving, every Thursday at 7 p.m. on my Conductor Thursday live stream, where either I go solo or I have amazing guests like I did last night. Definitely check out that video. Again, I had Orange Glow 55, Disney the Italiano, and Theme Park Wizard all joined me last night for a 2-hour live stream, and we dove deep into the Disney treasure with the Epcot suites. We dove into Universal Hollywood with all the updates going on with the hillside behind the Mummy getting torn apart, the Fast and Furious roller coaster, just the hotels coming to the resort. We talked about Disney, DCA, Downtown Disney. So definitely check out that video. I will post a link to that video down below in the description once I'm done with this live stream. Again, I want to thank you guys and have a great day. Be safe, stay cool, or stay warm wherever you may be, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.